For Bannon.
I felt like we hit it off quickly. They worked me as hard as I've ever been worked, harder than I've ever been worked before. They're super invested in me as an individual and then invested in us as a group. I've loved that so far and I can't wait for that to continue to evolve as the season goes on, and I'm really excited for where that can take this group.
Josh Bannon definitely found a new home in Tasmania, and the fit seems perfect, Leonard.
Yeah, he's been consistent. He's playing, he's not missing any games, not injured. He's shooting the ball well, and he's a great combination with Magnay.
The numbers speak for themselves, 15 and 9 or thereabouts on the season, and really reliable. The shot looks a little funky from three, but it's effective. He can knock down enough of them that he can stretch the floor. But the rebounding and the work around the cup is the thing that sticks out for me, and great to see the work ethic and the work that he's putting in, because he's getting rewarded and they're giving him a fantastic
He's enjoying himself.
Absolutely. And if you go into any of the timeouts, you see the relationship between him and Scott Roth. Scott Roth knows how to manage him. When he gets frustrated, he knows how to calm him down. I love this combination of Scott Roth and Josh Bannon. It seems to be working for Bannon. Let's take a look at the whiteboards. He's writing on his right now.
No, because I sent it to him already.
Okay, what's he got?
Well, first of all, he has to get his guards going. When they played Melbourne United a couple of weeks ago, Campbell and those guys, Bryce, went to work, so get those guys going. There's no Shaili. Secondly, control the boards, because they out-rebounded Melbourne United by 20, 51-31. And thirdly, just get the crowd involved. You guys are losing at home. Magnay for a couple of dunks. Drimmick dived up for some balls. Get this crowd going, because you know how loud it can be down at Kelsey when they're rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the crowd gets involved, it really turns on the other team as well. What about Dean Thickerman for you,
Well,
Coach,
there's a lot of similarities between coaches and mine, because they are important, and particularly on the back of the last game. But first thing, and we spoke about it a little earlier, you've got to guard the three-point line. They're a 32, 33% three-point shooting team, and they have not been great at guarding the three-point line. That's a factor. But as you mentioned, when they spifflicated us, that is Melbourne United, they did it on the boards, 51-31.
Yes, sir.
It was a complete domination. And then I think Chris Goulding, we saw against Brisbane, the team was struggling a little bit. He came out, was on got going early. But get Chris going early, get him involved and make him a priority, and I think they're a better team when Chris Goulding is at his best.
One word, quick tip.
I'm saying, without Delaney,
Quick.
JackJumpers.
Go.
JackJumpers by 2.
Tassie JackJumpers and Melbourne United at My State Bank Arena, and the tip-off starts now.
Hamilton goes to work. Bryce Hamilton brings My State Bank Arena to its feet. Hamilton with a hand in the face. Big hit. Woo. Bucket Doyle off the inbound play. Newcomers, same Milton Doyle. Bannon from deep again. It puts Tasmania back in front.
Well, it is one of the great modern-day rivalries in basketball, and the JackJumpers will be hoping to get their 2026 rolling in style and find some much-needed consistency. Well, Melbourne United, they will be hoping to regain some of their early season form against the team that they generally have trouble with. Hello and welcome, My State Bank Arena. Hungry Jack's NBL continues alongside me. The greatest duo in basketball history, Leonard Copeland, Andrew Gaze. These two teams, when they play, they very rarely disappoint.
Absolutely. There's plenty of pressure on both teams, especially Tasmania. They want to stay in that top 6, and in order to do that, they got to get a win, and they've had plenty of success against Melbourne United.
Well, the opening game of the season between these two teams, it was one of the best games of the season. And it was intense, it was a close battle. But then just a couple of weeks ago, we saw the Jackies come into Melbourne and just completely dominate the game. So Melbourne got a win in their last up against Brisbane, but was not an impressive one. In fact, with 4 minutes to go, they were 4 points down. It looked like it was going to be another L against a team that during that period has looked very shaky. So Melbourne is still trying to find their mojo, and they've got to do it without Finn Delaney. But you look at the numbers throughout the series and that domination. It was Tyson Walker, he battled hard, but Tiger Campbell came out and had one of his better games.
Well, that round 13 game was an outlier, the 19-point win to Tassie, because the previous 9 games had all been decided by single digits. And Leonard, the stat that stands out to me, in their 23 meetings head-to-head, only 5 times have Melbourne United scored more than 90 points against the JackJumpers.
And that's because Roth knows how to play defense. And we were just speaking about this. At home, they're a different team. Now, this year's been different as well because they can't get a win. But he has those guys with controlling the tempo, and you're not going to run out on him. He knows how to play defense.
And, of course, for the JackJumpers, one of the players that you just mentioned in the pre-game show that's had a sensational season is that man, Josh Bannon. Career highs in points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentages in his 3rd season in the NBL. He's really been a guy that's just reliable and consistent, which I think Scott Roth would love in his team.
Yeah, of course, and he's stereotypically the 4-man you need in this league. Got good size, rebounding, all 9.5 boards a game, and also can shoot the 3. And I think that's stereotypically what most teams are looking for, and I think he's thrived in a system. He knows his role, he knows how he's going to get the ball, he knows where his scoring opportunities are going to come from, and also the pace of play. You talk about the Melbourne United not scoring on him. Yes, the Jackies' defense has been good, but I think it's their tempo, their offense. They don't give the Melbourne United or other teams as many opportunities because they play it at a slower pace.
More importantly, Josh Bannon has stayed healthy. Last 2 years in Brisbane, he's been hurt both years, and he hadn't been able to play.
Yeah, coming off 25 points and 6 rebounds in that 1-point loss to Illawarra. 17 of those points came in the 4th quarter. Well, from the Melbourne United side, we talk about offense, and it generally all stems around Chris Goulding. You showed these stats in the pre-game, and I thought they were too good not to show again. Look at the impact he has in wins and losses.
It is, and that's not a coincidence. And I know you can look at some times when, well, Chris has been down, he's been crook, but whether he's there and playing poorly or he's not there, when he's not there, they are a different-looking Melbourne United team. They've been designed a lot around him, and clearly the evidence is you've got to get him going. It gives you a far better chance of success if he can put some points on the board. And the thing I like about him in that Brisbane game more recently, he's been in a bit of a funk because of some health issues, lost a lot of weight, but he came out and he just didn't settle for threes.
It's going to be a big matchup against Will Magnay. Now we get this one underway. Saturday night, Hungry Jacks NBL from another sold-out My State Bank Arena. And 2 teams that have had some sensational encounters against one another. And straight up, the crowd are going to love that. Chris Goulding called for a travel.
Yeah, it's sliding of the pivot foot, and definitely a travel, but it's...
Doesn't worry him. Doesn't worry him. He'll come back another
doesn't get whistled all the time.
Hasn't played down in Tasmania since round 2 last season. Chris Goulding, a native Tasmanian from Launceston. There's Bryce Hamilton, tries to get the work.
And what we haven't spoken about is Milton Doyle played here, so if anybody knows how to slow him down, it's Roth.
Well, they did the first 3 quarters in that opening game of the season, and then he would come on in the 4th quarter and went completely bunter and single-handedly won the game.
22 points in that round 1 win for Melbourne United.
Look at this. Dean Vickerman would have played less than 30 seconds of zone all season, and here on this out-of-bounds play, he goes and sits in a 2-3 zone. So maybe we're going to see a bit more zone. Could be one of the changes that he makes in their run home to the finals.
Walker can't get that layup to go either, so crowd still standing, waiting for the first bucket. We've played a minute into this one. As I mentioned, don't expect a high-scoring game. History shows it'll be somewhere in the 70s and 80s. Bannon has got this in the repertoire, and his confidence is sky high at the moment.
It's not a pretty 3, but it's consistent. He knocks it down in that spot more than he misses.
It's something that he's had his whole career. I saw him play in the under-12s with Blackburn, and he had that in his game, so it's not foreign to him, albeit that the shot has got a little kink in it. It's a little funky, but it's effective. Ultimately, the follow-through watch the follow-through. So you'll see a little glitch in there, but the follow-through is very good.
Beautiful rotation on that ball.
Shooting at almost 53% from the field this year, 32% from the 3-point line. He's got the only basket so far. Of course, Tassie coming off a heartbreaking 2-point loss in that Ignite Cup game to Illawarra on New Year's Eve as Tiger Campbell tried to find Magnay, who gets fouled.
And look, Melbourne United are missing that piece, Shea Ely, who is a defensive specialist. Walker's a great defender as well, as we can see here. But to miss Shea and not have Shea on that floor, they're much different teams.
Well, the combination of him and Delaney. Tim Delaney, I think he's having his best season in the NBL. And he's out for personal reasons, and we wish him nothing but good luck. And he's going to be sorely missed in a game like this. And the combination of them both, too, on the defensive end.
It'd be nice for Will Magnay to see those free throws go down. Just over 50% on the season. Makes both early. Fast start for the Jackies. And they get almost another turnover, but it's going to be a foul.
I was reading, did I get my stats right? Melbourne 2-5 since the FIBA break.
Yeah,
it's even worse than that. In their last 7, they've lost 5 games.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that, yeah, they beat Brisbane, but they only just got over the line.
Yeah.
4 points down with 4 minutes to go.
It wasn't convincing against Brisbane. That's what you want to see, Gazy. Golding getting to the basket.
And that's that drive you're talking about, Daisy.
Yeah.
Golding used to settling for the 3. But he's smarter now because people are running him off that 3-point line.
Get their first basket and try and settle in this one. Bannon thought he knocked down the first, so he'll try his luck again. Of course, their last 3 games, the Jackies, it's been decided by 2 points, 3 points and 1 point. They've been up and down all year, win-loss, win-loss. They just want to try and see if they can string some wins together. They've got some teams breathing down their neck just outside the top 6 as Milton Doyle tried to step back. Illawarra winning earlier tonight. They are in New Zealand, are just a couple of wins behind.
That's right. The losses you've got to look at, and they're tied on losses, but 12 games of 6 points or less. And that's in a team that currently is the worst free throw shooting team in the competition. So you make a few more free throws and it can turn the tables.
Of course, plenty riding for Melbourne United. If they lose this, they'll drop the 3rd. South East Melbourne Phoenix will go ahead of them. And they're trying to find there for Marshall. Patient. And another miss.
You've got the Sydney Kings coming as well. So they all say they don't look ahead, but it puts a little bit of extra importance on this one in a game when you just look at the ladder as one you'd be expected to win. And then you've got a tough one coming up against the Kings, who have got hold of them.
Here's Doyle. Love to get on the board early, but instead tried to set it up for Jesse Edwards.
And look, we all know Doyle's a superstar and can get the job done. It just seems like this year he's passing way more than usual. Just pass the ball when you have to. Don't force it. But you still got to put that ball in the hole, bros.
Speaking of putting it in the hole, this man's been awesome in recent weeks, Tyson Walker. But he's been awesome all season long, but really stepped it up. So is this guy, Tiger Campbell, who's found a bit of his offensive form. Just going through a bit of a slump, scoring-wise. That's going to be a good matchup between 2 pure point guards. Golding now will try his luck.
Wow.
And watch out. He's got 5.
That was deep, 2. Penetration and kick. You can't leave Chris Golding that open, even when he's that far out.
It's going to be a good battle as well. Speak about the point guards, but the big boys going at it. And there is Chris Golding. We spoke about the 19 points against Brisbane, 12 of them in the first quarter. Daisy. No, I'm safe hands with you and Copes alongside me tonight as Tassie turn it over again. That's their 3rd of the quarter.
I don't understand how you could, since they've been in the league, playing in that building or that stadium has been their go-to. How do you lose so many games?
Here's Krebs. And swatted away from the Jock Deng. That'll get the crowd up and about. They're just 3-6 at My State Bank Arena this season. 3-8 if you include the games at the Silverdome. Krislovic has become a blocking machine this season.
And he jumps credit card high. He don't even hit the ground.
No, he's undersized, but he's basketball IQ. He reads the play well.
The top shot blockers in the NBL this season is young Dash wants to go at the Jock Deng, and that's nice.
Well, it is. Step back in traffic. 1-footer, Dirk Nowitzki style.
Tassie just 3 of 12 from the field. Most of their points from the free throw line at the moment. 5 of 6. They need to get something going. Hamilton might be the man yet to get a basket. That was Johnson, in fact, to Ben Air. And then a foul on Coppins. That'll be 14th foul on Melbourne, so both teams will be in the bonus next foul.
And it's a real slug at the moment, but that's how the JackJumpers want to play. They want to keep the scores in the 70s and 80s. So, although they trail it by 3 now, and they'd be thinking, well, we're not going to go 3 of 13 for the rest of the game. They're eventually going to pick up, we're going to make some shots. But the tempo of the game is in their favour.
Hence why so many of these games between these teams have been so close. 17 of their 23 decided by single digits. Very rarely do you get a blowout. Tassie have played in more close games than the other team this season. It's going to be that sort of arm wrestle. And the Jock Deng coming off the bench has been scoring the lights out recently.
He's a scoring machine. And they go to him. They get him the ball. They call his number. And he responds.
Yeah, he's another one who's not afraid of a big moment. He hit some big shots in that championship win 4 seasons ago.
There we go, 2 shots, guys. Coming in.
Limited amount, but only 47% from the free throw line this season. Dash Daniels. And
the shooting in general is where he needs to improve. Oh my goodness, that's an air ball.
That is Burgers. That is code word skills on the Hungry Jack. So the Hungry Jacks NBL app, you can download it, type in skills, and state of Tassie, get the cheeseburgers.
Burgers.
They can thank Dash Daniels for that.
Burgers, a shake, some fries, give me the bag, and chips, everything, man.
No, they deserve close. You force a player at this level to throw up an air ball from the free throw line.
Magnate, he was hesitant at the start, then he saw some room. Kicks it out. Stoddart.
It's a surprise to see him in the game this early. Stoddart.
Wants to be aggressive. He decides to go at Krebs, and that was a nice finish.
That's a nice drive by Stoddart.
Well, the guy's only played in 12 games. He's full of confidence based on that last possession.
Here's Milton Doyle only taking the 1 field goal in this first quarter. Again, gives it up to Coppins. He goes baseline, but as always, off balance in the final possession of this quarter. Will go the way of the Jackies.
Another great pass, but Milton, we know what you can do with the ball at the end of the quarter, man. Go to work.
Magnay attacks the basket. He's got 4, and that'll see us out in a seesawing arm wrestle as we expected at My State Bank Arena. The Tassie JackJumpers looking to get their 2026 year rolling, and at quarter time against the travelling Melbourne United, they lead by 3.
Tasmania, the best straight battle is really in here tonight. Let's give it that big, next energy. Clap us together. Let's get
Quarter time, My State Bank Arena, and it's the Tassie JackJumpers. It was Josh Bannon who got them off to the start. And in a slow scoring arm wrestle and a bit of a slog as you would expect with these two teams. The Jackies, they led by 4 early. Melbourne at the front, got up by 4. But Tasmania lead by 3 as we head into the second quarter. Andrew Gaze, what'd you make of that first term?
Well, like I said, I think it was right at the tempo the JackJumpers want, and despite some poor shooting, they come good at the end of the quarter. So, as far as setting the tempo is concerned, I think the Jackies get the win.
And there's Majapdang again with another block. That's his second. The numbers standing out too. The rebound count 14-6 in favour of Tassie. I mentioned earlier they dominated that category last time they met. As this time Hamilton gets it to Magnay, who's got 6 early points.
And generally, when you're losing on the rebound, you're losing your rebound count, you're going to be behind, Drew.
Yeah. Doyle, that's one goes. You can see Magnay scoring his 1200th NBL points. Only once in his last 6 games he scored in double digits. He's on track tonight. 6 early. He sets the screen for Ben Eyre. Stoddart, again looking to be aggressive. Had a good look at it, and then Jesse Edwards just taps it back in. Who gets those points? I think they went to Will Magnay, who'll take them, so he's got 8. Now Bowen hesitates again. Thought about it a couple of times. Now Walker will look to get to the basket as he does so well with that speed and class. And they needed that basket.
Aggressive.
They look pretty stagnant too, Melbourne United. They're relying primarily just on the penetration, spread the floor, not a lot of cutting action. And I think it become a whole lot easier to defend when you're not moving people around.
Bowen picks up the foul. Milton Doyle just still scoreless, only the 2 field goal attempts. Just got the 1 assist. No Finn Delaney, as we mentioned earlier. He's missing hopefully tonight only. Shea Iliwino still out. Now Krebs does a great punch off the bench. Gets that to go and a chance at a 3-point play.
He's been special all year long. Aggressive, shooting the ball. When Chris Golden was out in the first half of the season, he sort of led this team in scoring a lot of games by the way he shot the ball, Drew.
Oh, my word, and you see Stoddart, just a bit of inexperience. No way was he ever going to get that charge call, and it was just needed to keep sliding his feet. If you get caught for a push, take it from the sideline, let's regroup. And for someone like him, who's not going to play big minutes, your judgment on when you can use fouls is important. And that was one where you foul on the push on the drive, defense re-established, and instead he puts his opponent to the free throw line for a couple of free throws.
There he is, getting some good minutes, and again Magnay being much more involved offensively, and he's the first player into double digits.
Did I not just speak about him being aggressive? He's got 10 already, huh? Where did that go?
Walker, he's got 9 for Melbourne United. That was an ambitious lob from Edwards, who actually made it work pretty well over the top of 2, and then gives it to Cole Bowen. Early in the season, Magnay might have thought about that. He tried a few threes early in the year. He's put that away recently as Bannon with strength
And hang time. You could tell that he could see Edwards behind and just hung in the air long enough, timed that perfectly to help him not get blocked.
Doyle found Krebs. That time his feet were set, but couldn't get it to go. Shooting 40% on the season from deep. Tanner Krebs. Magnay again being super aggressive, and he is dominating this contest, and he's feeling good.
Well, Joey, you mentioned in our pre-game chat, you asked some questions about Will Magnay and his scoring, and he must have heard you because he's come out in very aggressive fashion. 5 of 6 from the field, and that's Jesse Edwards' second personal foul, but he's 0 of 1. Jesse Edwards here, he's got 4 boards, but 0 of 1 from the field. When you think of trying to get players' touches involved, he's another one that outside of the lob threat, you know, there doesn't seem a whole lot.
Yeah, there's no post-up plays for him. But here's the thing, though. What I don't understand, their first 9 games, they made it work. He was a scoring machine. Other guys were getting the job done. What's the difference?
Well, Shea Ely is an impact. You know, I know he missed a chunk at the start of it early, but he certainly is an impact. And Finn Delaney, but they just lost their mojo. And it seems to be continuing here.
And David Johnson, he joins the party. His first points. Dean Vickerman doesn't like what he's seeing at the moment, calls a tangerine timeout. Tassie, game high, 8-point lead.
I'm really interested to hear what Dean Vickerman's got to say here, because this is one of their moments. They've been right throughout the season. There have been times where they just can't score. And tonight we're seeing it on display again. They go through some patches where scoring just becomes really difficult for them.
Well, Drewy, you ask, so we deliver. Let's go into the timeout of Melbourne United.
We haven't protected the rim at all right now. All right, down there. Things are coming downhill, scoring over us. Make sure we got a crowd. We got to make them kick some out. End out right now. We're back to man-to-man. We didn't get the spots quick enough. Side out, still stay in the green. All right, until they figure that one out. Give me a shakes down right here. All right, shakes down. 4-man, 5-man. Again, Milt, your man might end up trying to come in here and bump or do something. But right now, we got 4-man coming back to it. 5-man baseline. Come on, weather this one.
He said, let's run this one until they figure it out. And he's changed that defense a couple of times. He's zone, he's playing different styles of defense. That's not really, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think team's ever done that, has he?
Well, this season, we've only played, I can't remember him playing much zone at all, if any. Today's the first time I can recall him playing a zone. Now, they're only doing it on the underneath out of bounds and the sideline out of bounds. But, and defense is a priority, of course, but you've only got 23 points. To me, it's down this end. They've just looked discombobulated.
They bring Golding back into the game, see if he can get some offense going. Bowen, that's going to be an offensive foul.
And Prislovic blocking.
Blue 18, hold, offensive foul.
Score won't count. Really there, watch Prislovic. Tackled him as he was trying to defend.
He had him blocked anyway, didn't need to.
He actually brought him into the play.
Yeah.
Referee right in the spot. Good call. Speaking about their defensive struggles, Melbourne United, their first 10 games, they were conceding 82 points a game. Their last 10, they're conceding 95.
Yeah, it is.
So that's clearly why they've been trying to find a formula that works defensively. And at the moment, they're having trouble stopping Tassie as well.
Well, it just looks like they've lost some confidence. And of course, you got to lose confidence when you lose a game or two. But for a team that was 9-0, I keep going back to this. Didn't happen a lot.
But Walker was a sensation. Jesse Edwards was doing his thing. And like we keep saying, Copes, this league with only 10 teams, every individual gets scouted and scrutinised to an inch of their lives. And every other team, they see what's going on and then they put in some strategies that make it more difficult for you. And
so everybody's picking on Melbourne United, are they? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I'm saying it's across the board.
Right.
Across the board, you see some players that start out great, but then their ability to maintain it because they figure it out. And if you haven't got...
Well, you also see some teams, Adelaide, Sydney, teams scout them as well, but they've been able to figure it out.
That's right, but when you've got individual brilliance like Davis and Bryce Cotton, hello.
Oh, hello. Seen that play before. Couldn't quite pull it off.
Nah, bro. You got a long
Not
way
as
to go.
easy as it looks.
You got a long way to go, son.
Now Bannon. Decides to kick it out. Hamilton hasn't even got going at all for Tassie, their best player. He's still scoreless. So that's a positive for Scott Roth. Campbell already knocked one down. Magnate, he's being a real menace down there. He's got 14, and he's taking Jesse Edwards to the cleaners.
Well, that time it was Kristlovic, and just down low, size prevailing.
14 points already. That's the second most he's had in his last 13 games. And we've still got 5 minutes to play in the half. There's Campbell again. Golding, 40 got it clean.
It looked like his arm came back. I'm not sure why Chris is so upset. Maybe the replay
Time out, Tasmania.
might
Time
help
out.
us.
Amy, please, let us see this replay.
Ring 33 on the line.
Scott Roth calls a tangerine timeout. Tassie will go to the free throw line, try and extend their 10-point lead. Golding's frustrated, maybe more with the way the team's playing rather than the call.
And here it is, the last foul. Yeah, got a lot of ball, but come across the arms.
Well, that's a foul. Stop complaining.
I can see why from that angle that you think when you get a lot of ball, but not that time.
Of course, Hoops Fest is not far away at all, so the ultimate fusion of sport, culture, music, entertainment, everything Copes loves. Hoops Fest will take place on the 15th to the 18th of January. Don't miss out your chance at the NBL, WNBL regular season games, Sneakerland events, Hoops Fest. Scan the QR code for an exclusive broadcast offer, 20% off all Hoops Fest tickets. Are you two going or?
Troy's going, I'm not going.
I'm going for a Saturday night game and a Sunday afternoon game. Some of the other commentators are going the whole time, Thursday through to Sunday.
Which night are you going to party?
I won't have an opportunity to do that. Saturday night I've got a game, and then Sunday afternoon game. So
I'll party for him down
Yeah,
there.
okay, righto.
but there will be plenty of partying going on.
Have you seen Gazy? What's Gazy? Partying skills.
He's a superstar.
You're saying that's
When he's got the dancing shoes.
Which one are we?
One's us going to the rim, all the other stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, but like it should be fucking 4 fouls down there.
Excuse the fruity language as Bannon gets that one to go. And this is a good sign for Tassie, the free throws. They have missed more free throws than any other team this year. 10th in the competition, 8 of 10. Taking advantage of.
And look, we've been speaking about Melbourne United. I have no doubt James Bickerman knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for too many years, and he'll turn it around. They'll fix it. It just looks
Green 5.
Doesn't look right.
It
does
doesn't look right if when you go 9-0. I played a long time. To go 9-0 is a very hard thing to do in any league.
It was a foul that was just called.
Chop Deng just with a little push there after the pass.
Oh, gee. That's a mage. Yep, it was technically a foul, but I think that's one we wouldn't be complaining if it wasn't called.
They're going to try and up the ante defensively. This time they get Edwards going. They've tried a few times with that lob. He gets his first basket.
That's a nice play.
It's good for him as well. Only 2 field goal attempts, 1 of 2. He's not going to get a lot, but those cheap ones, he's good. Just got to be tighter. Have you seen the stats on Josh Bannon? Just walked into the elbow, shot a free throw.
They tempted him. He took it. He's got 11, Bannon, to go with the 3 rebounds. Walker, again, they try the lock for Edwards. They'll get it back with the shot clock. It's going to be down to 4. So someone's going to have to get it up. Doyle's going to have to try something. He's going to try from almost half court. And that sums up almost their offense in this first half.
He's 1 of 4, only got 2 points, but look at the Amy replay here. Well designed, so they're hard showing. As long as they can make that pass, they're playing 2-on-1. And when you've got a lob threat like Edwards in there, your margin for error on those passes is great.
I can tell you one thing Dean Bickerman would not be happy with is the fact that Bannon just missed one. He was 4 for 5 with 11 points, and McNay is 6 for 7 with 14 points. That's 25 points from your bigs inside with two misses. They got to clean that up, and they're losing on the board.
Yeah. Not losing, comprehensively getting beaten. 8 to 22.
Wow.
So they haven't learned the lessons from that game. Oh, what a play by Johnson, and that's going to be 3 fouls on Edwards.
It's been the issue for Edwards getting in foul trouble.
Let's go high, guys.
Dean Vickerman's spoken about wanting to keep him out there for longer, but just can't.
Jeez, vertical, just jumps forward though. And gets called for the foul. So they're 2 bigs, Krislovic and Edwards, both on the 3.
Johnson, 3 from 3 in the free throw line.
And I think they're doing this with a donut. 0 points from Bryce Hamilton. To be up 11, make that 12 with 3 minutes to go in the half. And Bryce Hamilton has yet to score. That's the surprise.
It's coming, don't worry. He starts off slow sometimes, but he's good enough. And he'll get the job done.
They've got their work cut out for them at the moment, Melbourne. They're on track for their lowest first half score of the season. Can they get something going? Edwards needs to repay the favour at the other end. Throws that down. Need a bit more of that from the big man. Because this guy, McNay, has 14 and has been dominating. So Cole Bowen does a nice job.
I first look, I might have a legitimate right. Looks like Magnay dropped the shoulder.
Of course, tough stretch coming up for Tassie. They've got this game against Melbourne United, then they head to Adelaide to play the 36ers before Melbourne again in Hoops Fest, and then Sydney away. Wow. So they've got 4 really difficult games. They'd love to get this one tonight. Still a lot to play out, but they've started well. As we said, there are teams breathing down their neck as Marshall gets that one to go.
Yeah, that race for the 6th spot, and you can say exactly the same about Melbourne United. Their ambition of getting in the top 2, they've got to change their recent form as well.
Doyle has it knocked away. Falls back. Bowen, and now Edwards can't finish. Worried out of it by Magnay. And Campbell wants to push it. There's those active hands from Tyson Walker. And then Bowen, nice finish. Started with the defensive end. Tyson Walker, 7 steals a couple of nights ago.
We like that too.
He's averaging 4 a game over his last 3. They'd love to get it back to single digits by the half. Tassie want to keep pressing. Johnson, Magnay. Here's Deng. Tried to find Magnay.
Foot violation. So they get a fresh 14. If it is a foot violation, yes, it is.
These guys are just so selfish. Whatever happened? Get it up, son. Get it up. Shoot it.
I think that was an example of the impact of Edwards. You're in there and you're thinking he's going to use that wingspan and block it. And just trying to draw the defense. But they make the substitution and Krislovic comes back in.
Here's Campbell. Going at Walker. Looks to get to the basket, can't finish. United looked at just slowly peg back this gap. Golding just fires away. He's a bit strong. Now Doyle wants Krislovic. Gets it going. Lobs it up now, Golding. Feet set. Again, he's not able to get that one to finish. Hasn't been a happy hunting ground for him, My State Bank Arena. His last 5 trips here, just averaging the 14 points.
Oh dear, that's deep. That was a 2 for 1, I believe.
I hate the 2 for 1s when you take a bad shot.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Now for him, it's not a horrifically bad shot, but
We can get a better shot.
no doubt.
In that time.
Now Walker will pull it out. Might have to go alone again. Puts the moves on and then has the easy lane, and thank goodness he has been there in the first half. He's got 13 of their 35. And Scott Roth wants to call a tangerine timeout to draw up the last play of the half.
Well, you can't advance it, of course, so you've got to go the length of the floor, but 8 seconds is more than enough time to get a good shot off.
25 points have come out of Magnay and Bannon for Tassie in this first half.
At 80+%.
Yep.
Yeah, if Melbourne United, Tyson Walker's been really good, 5 of 6 from the field, 13 points. Doesn't have any turnovers, only a 1 assist, but he's offensively in where it's been a real slugfest for him, hard to come by. They've needed every one of those 13.
Yeah, the 3 ball as well, deserting it. It's been a factor when they've lost Melbourne United, just shooting at 18%. There is a look at the live ladder. What it does mean South East Melbourne will jump ahead of Melbourne if it stays this way and they lose the game. Sydney will be right on their heels with a couple of games up their sleeve. And it just gives Tasmania a little buffer from New Zealand and Illawarra, who are just breathing down their neck, hoping there's a bit of a slip up and they can work their way into 6th spot.
And both New Zealand and Illawarra, they'll be watching this game and hoping like anything that Melbourne United can get the win. Because despite Melbourne United's woes, there's no doubting they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yep. They got to fix some things.
They would still have that desire to be in a top 2.
Earlier tonight, Illawarra defeated Cairns by 18 points as the play was drawn up for Will Magnay, who couldn't quite finish, but it has still been a pretty dominant first half from the big man. He leads the way with 14 points and 5 rebounds, and he has helped his side, Tassie, have a nice 9-point lead against Melbourne United, who have scored their lowest first half score of the season, just 35 points. Can they bounce back? We'll take a break. Leonard Copeland and Andrew Gaze will talk you through it right after this.
JackJumpers, and they're introducing a new camp, the JackJumpers Gameplay Days. Those playing under 12s, under 14s, and under 16s who want competitive gameplay and advanced schoolwork, including coaching by Jackie's coach, Nate Bruton. Presented by Banjo's Bakery, all holiday programs include delicious lunch from Banjo's. Check out the QR code or head to jackjumpers.com.au/clinics.
Well, we always knew it was going to be an arm wrestle at My State Bank Arena, Tassie and Melbourne United, and that's what we have in the first half here. The Jackies, though, lead by 9 points. They were leading by 3 at quarter time, able to extend that in the half. And Melbourne United, well, their form slump is continuing for the moment. Can they turn it around? If there is one positive, Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland, the last 4 games in the NBL, the team that has trailed at half-time have come back to win.
Wow.
When we look at earlier, the Hawks and Cairns, Adelaide, Sydney last night, Perth, and even South East Melbourne. So it's never been done this season. So Melbourne are going to try and make it 5
No,
on the
you
trot.
doing your homework, brother.
Melbourne,
you are doing your homework.
Can Melbourne make it 5 in a row coming back from half-time? But to be honest, they've got their work cut out.
Well, they do, and the numbers are there, and the three-point shooting is well below par. They are a very good three-point shooting team statistically on the season, but to only put up 35 points in a half of basketball, when you look at the talent at their disposal, a lot of credit goes to the JackJumpers. The tempo at which they play at, it really frustrates Melbourne United, and this is not a surprise when you think of the entire existence of these two clubs, Dean Vickerman and Scott Roth. It's 14-9 in favour of Scott Roth, so for whatever reason, regardless of the personnel, Scott Roth seems to have their measure.
Well, Dean Vickerman will be not happy with the bigs from the JackJumpers. 14 points for Bannon and 11 points for Magnay. It's just too many points. But more importantly, it's the rebounds, 24-12.
Yeah.
If you're leading it, if you're leading the rebounding, generally you're winning the game.
And that shouldn't be a surprise. In the last game at Melbourne United, in the open air game and all that, but they lost the rebound count by 20. Yeah. So you'd think you'd be going back, reviewing that game and say, hey, don't get beat the same way twice.
I'm sure he's talking about it.
But for whatever reason, they have not been able to execute on the boards, which is unusual. Usually you'd see a noticeable change, but the numbers, they're on track to do exactly the same.
Well, speaking of the bigs, let's take a look at the Hungry Jacks halftime highlights, and it is that man, Will Magnay, 14 points. That is his second highest score in his last 13 games. Just hasn't really been firing as much offensively, Coach. We spoke about earlier, but tonight he's been a focal point and he's delivering.
Absolutely. We just spoke about them not running any plays for him, and now look up, he's got 10 points. He's got 14 points now going to the basket, out-rebounding these guys. And what he's done is he's got their bigs into foul trouble, so now it's a little bit easier for him to get to that basket and score points, George.
Well, he's a high-quality player, and as we've been saying, he impacts the game not just on the scoreboard. When he's in the game, the rim protection, as far as a pick-and-roll option, he is one of the best in the competition and has excelled at that tonight. He's got the 5 rebounds, and Melbourne United, they've got to come up with a different strategy on how they're going to guard him because he's been open so much. They're fighting over the top on an on-ball screen, and they're hard showing. So in those circumstances, it's the third man rotation. So if you're going to switch, you can go underneath and get into the legs of the roller. But right now, he's getting that gap and he's finding some space.
And he's coming off 2 points in that loss to Illawarra, 1 of 7 from the field. So good to see Magnay bouncing back to form. Well, another man who's really been in form all season long and was brilliant in that loss to Illawarra is Josh Bannon. Had the 25 last outing and he's continued on that form again with 11 points and 3 rebounds.
And what a great year he's having. We spoke about him and the way he shoots the ball. He's been healthy. Last year in Brisbane, he missed some games. The year before that, he missed some games. But he's found a new home now. They're looking for him. He's rewarding them by going to the basket, pulling up shots, and he plays strong to it.
But here's an example of just not having respect. They just didn't guard him. They invited him to take a free throw. Now, he is too good just to be played like that. Now, there might have been a miscommunication, a breakdown in the defence, which has happened, but it shouldn't happen with such a prominent player like him, averaging almost 16 and 10 or thereabouts. Yeah. He needs to be shown a bit more respect, or else he's going to get 30.
Well, round 15 of the Hungry Jacks NBL continues tomorrow, a Sunday doubleheader. The first game, a couple of teams that are wedged around Tassie. New Zealand Breakers just below, the Perth Wildcats just above. That'll be an interesting battle. Can New Zealand try and claw their way up towards the top 6 and then to follow? Well, the Brisbane Bullets, they're going to be up against it. No Tyrell Harrison, no Javon Freeman Liberty, and they are taking on the red-hot Adelaide 36ers, and it's always fun when Bryce Cotton comes to town. So that is tomorrow, but there is still a massive second half to come here from Tasmania. Don't go anywhere. Can Melbourne United find a way to claw back, or can Tassie continue to dominate their nemesis? Hungry Jacks NBL, second half, right after this. Well, if Melbourne United are to get back into the game, you feel it's going to be off the back of their star point guard, Tyson Walker. He's been doing it in their last 3 or 4 games while others have been struggling. And really, he's been a lone hand offensively tonight.
Yeah, they've very much needed him and just needs to find a running mate. And as we mentioned right from the top, Milton Doyle's been that one that you need to get a good start. Yes, he's one of the best closers we've seen in the NBL, but right now when you're going through this funk, you need those better early starts, which they got against Brisbane. You know, they faltered more late in the game. But just to ease the tension, because right now, when you're trying to play your way through a difficult time, you can't do it individually. It's got to be done with the collective.
I mentioned earlier, Copes, the Tassie next 5, and why this one in particular is so important with the 9-point half-time lead, because the next 4, it's as tough as you're going to get, you know, with Adelaide, Melbourne again, and Sydney away.
Absolutely, that's tough. All 3 of those teams are winning teams. So at the end of the day, you got to get whichever one you can. That's why this one's so important to get you.
And on the flip side for Melbourne United, well, this is the 2nd game of a brutal travel stretch where they play 8 games on the road. When you consider those home games are in Bendigo, that is what it looks like for them. So they're in Tassie tonight, they've got Bendigo, then they're in Sydney, then they go to Perth. That's a Perth game, that home game at Hoops Fest. Then they're in Bendigo again, Perth again, and New Zealand.
Well, that next Cairns game, the early forecast, it's going to be a 41-degree day. So in Bendigo, hopefully the air conditioning's working.
So it's important for them here to try and get one. They ticked off Brisbane, even if it was unconvincing, their last performance. Can they win here at My State Bank Arena? Hamilton, we mentioned him, hasn't even got going. Still can't. Just the 3 field goal attempts, no points. 1 rebound, 1 assist for their superstar import.
And they've done a good job on him. I mean, he's not forcing anything, but he's leading the team in scoring. He's able to get a basket or 2.
Again, they try the lob. Just not quite working for Edwards. Good defense from Magnate. He his own.
What is wrong with these people, man?
Oh, it's just a terrible pass. But again, it's not a lot to see. You get to a sideline on ball, but everyone's standing around. They're playing 2-on-2, and the 3 guys, there's no cutting. There's not a lot of movement going on for Melbourne United.
And then Magnate, when they do get inside, just swats it away. One of the best in the league. Now Hamilton trying to regain possession. Bannon. Hand off to Magnate, who's continuing to dominate.
That's just good team basketball. Drew the weak side help. Dump off pass, easy dunk from Magnate.
Doyle happy to hand it off again to Edwards, but Magnate worries him out of it once again. Doing it at both ends, the big man.
Without fouling, just went vertical and intimidated Edwards.
He's not tempted to take the 3, instead he just gives it to Campbell. He had enough time. That would have been a real dagger early in this 3rd quarter. Again, they work this side of the court with Doyle and Bowen. Bowen worried about Magnate, so gave it to Edwards, and Magnate almost got it clean, but commits the foul this time.
Not a bad foul. Edwards is a bit of a mystery what happens when he goes to the free throw line. And there's that intimidation by Magnate. He goes up, vertical, no fouls.
62% on the season, Jesse Edwards.
Yeah, but he can get in a funk. 62, you'd like to see most players 70 or above. They are, I believe, the best free throw shooting team as a team, statistically.
Makes 1 of 2. But Bowen does a good enough job where they'll keep possession.
And nothing irritates coaches more than not being able to secure the defensive rebound on the free throw.
Golding with time. And that's his 2nd. He's got 8 points.
And they need him to get going. I mean, and he's good enough. He's got to run some plays for him.
They pick it back to 7. He attempted to leave Bannon there. Magnay, again, just wants to continue to go at Edwards. He does well that time defensively. And now Walker off to the races, but he ran into Bannon, who was ready for him, and then turns defense into transition offense. And Marshall with the finish.
Oh, what a turn of events. They get some momentum after the Golding three. They get a stop, and then the turnover by Walker that leads to a three-point option. Now with Marshall getting to the rim. There's the turnover. And a good find. Didn't need to foul him.
Somebody mentioned to me the other day that this could be the quietest Melbourne United team in a long time. Like, Shea's been missing, so he's not around.
Quiet as in what way?
Vocal
Okay,
on the
guys.
floor.
Right.
Okay. Shea's been their leader. Chris Golding will talk a little bit. But then Finn Delaney's a bit quiet, and all three imports are really quiet. Okay, so you get to that stage where
He's making noise.
he's making noise. And you can only listen to your head coach so long. I mean, that's everybody.
Hey, we good.
Tiger. There's a behaviour warning on the Melbourne bench. Look at that real energy guy. Who's that guy that you see in teams, the Dan Greeders and the that guy that just provides some real energy and some spark when they're in this sort of fun. As Magnay again, he's got an equal season high, 18 points and 6 rebounds. A couple of block shots also. Edwards couldn't finish the dunk.
Just needed to tip it. Just get a hand on, tip it in. Tried to dunk it.
Some of us big fellas like to dunk the ball. Here he is, an expert at
Sometimes
dunking
it's
now.
a bad decision.
He's an expert at dunking.
I'm
Now,
not an
never dunked in
expert.
his life, George. You know what I mean?
I've seen one dunk.
One dunk out of, he played for 2,500 years.
Well, they got problems at both ends. Missed dunks, and now Bannon with the fadeaway knocks it down. 13-point lead, and they've held Melbourne United, the second leading scoring team in the competition, to just 39 points.
It's a big performance here from Tassie. 13's equal game high. Melbourne haven't been able to claw into the margin. It's just drifting away. And well, let's go in and take a listen to Scott Roth and see what he has to say to his troops.
If any of our bigs drive this way or drive this way, they're digging. So make sure we're pulling in behind and giving them throwbacks and throws out. All right? Let's go back to ghost actions with the smalls. Goulding's in it. Bryce, you're screening. Nick's in it. JB's in the corner. Will's up at the top.
Do you want me to set it or ghost it?
Ghost. See some vision and get out. Got to do it with your defense. Together, 1, 2, 3, together.
Now, by ghosting, what he means is rather than just setting a screen and the player with the ball using the screen, you're going, and you're almost like faking the screen and slipping out. Now, sometimes you'll slip out to a pop, sometimes you'll just slip to the rim. And Will Magnay having one of his most productive games of the season.
He's been dominant, the big fella. Doing it at both ends of the floor. Captain leading from the front. Doyle. Melbourne would love to see him get going. Gives it up to Krislovic, and there he is again.
You can't lay that little soft stuff up in front of Magnay. He ain't having it, son. You either go up and try to dunk it, or you kick it out.
Here's the replay. Here's Krislovic. He couldn't get over the top of him. And that was easy pickings for Magnay as Bannon strips it away again. They try and work through their set that they were talking about in the timeout. Marshall. Off the glass, just nicely.
They're highly reactive. There's no ball pressure. They're not pushing them out of anything. The JackJumpers can come down and really get through whatever set they like without being impeded at all.
Doyle drives to the basket, get himself to the free throw line. Just the 2 points so far for the former Jack Jumper.
Coach, that last play, it was almost like you were going through a walkthrough at practice with your set. And
Nick Marshall,
and it just gets to a 2-on-2. The level of urgency on the defensive end.
And that's unheard of.
Unusual.
Yeah, for a Dean Bickerman team, though. That's what I mean.
And particularly when your season's not going great, you're usually coming out and you see a real intensity on the defense pick up. Now, this is a long way from over. It's still 13 points. And a quarter and a half remaining. But you need it. They'd want to see a noticeable change at both ends, really.
Hamilton, his woes offensively continue. None from 5 from the field. Melbourne, you feel like they need someone to catch fire. Someone to get hot offensively. Doyle, he might try. He can't. Does he want to get back into their pace of play? Second slowest in the competition by design. I'll work through it. Bannon gets to his spot. Hand in the face. Grizzly and Edwards are both on the floor at the same time now for Melbourne. And that's going to be another offensive foul on Fabian Krislovic, and that'll be his 4th.
Extending. Blue 18. Oh, offensive foul.
That is his 4th, yes. Oh.
Gee, I don't know if he grabbed him. Can't do that. Just grabbed him. That's, if you've got 3, that's a poor decision. I know you want to help your teammate out. Coach's challenge. Clearly, Dean hasn't seen the vision.
You calling this one unsuccessful?
This is unsuccessful.
Already? You sure?
You calling it, Joey? Get off the fence and call it, bro.
I've called it.
All right. Let's take a look at the replay that clearly Dean Bickerman didn't see.
No. Dean's made a...
I'm worried for the assistant coach that told him to go for it.
From that vision, it doesn't look as bad.
No,
but when you see it from the back vision,
standing, it probably didn't look bad at all. But he hasn't got to see that vision.
Yeah, slow him down.
Yeah, you can overturn this one.
Now, we've seen this replay 4 times. It should have been 1 replay. Whoop, unsuccessful. Let's get on with it.
I'm being told they're still reviewing.
What? Just grabbed him.
Boy, oh boy, well, I'd love to just see that big green tip.
Nah, Coach, there's something wrong. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying, Drew, you're so confident, and you're never this confident. You're never this confident.
But are you not? Do you see anything in there?
Hang on a minute.
Successful. Drew, Drew, how long have you been playing basketball, bro?
Coach, I don't get it.
Well,
Can we ask?
Can we spot it? I don't think we can get... We actually might try and get Scott Butler because Andrew Gaze, for the first time in his life, speechless. Gaze, he can't talk.
I don't understand. You'd see the jersey being pulled.
No, we're gonna bring in. G'day, Scott. Thank you for your time. Can you explain to Gazy why that was challenge successful?
Yes. So, in the screening action, we have to look at the action by number 33 by Bannon. Bannon forces Krislovic forward, which is the first illegal action on the play. Without this action, we don't have a foul in the second part of the play. So we wipe the foul on 18 and restart the ball on the sideline with Melbourne with 19 seconds on the shot clock.
But just to be clear, there was no doubt that Krislovic grabbed him.
Beautiful. Thank you, Scott Butler. Appreciate that explanation. That was clear as day. And now, whether you agree with it or not, that was the interpretation, and we play on.
I'll tell you one thing, Drew won't be guaranteeing anymore.
I was just talking about the action with Krislovic.
No, bro, you guaranteed that.
Yeah, I got it wrong, I guess.
Now, can they get a stop, Melbourne? Not like that. Just the second foul, the quarter on Melbourne. So Krislovic, of course, now just still on 3 fouls with Jesse Edwards. Kyle Bowen's also got 3. No Tassie Jack Jumper in any danger of foul trouble. Just 9 fouls committed on them for the night. Here's Campbell with the mid-range.
Again, that's just too easy.
Wide open. Simple action. And yeah, it's a mid-range jump shot, but really no pressure on the shot.
Back to an equal game high, 15-point lead. Golding might have tweaked the ankle. Walker. Doyle. Attacks Johnson from the baseline.
Magnay's got it. He's in their heads. When they're getting into the paint, he is right in their heads, and he's not always blocking it, but he's making them kick it out or change the shot.
Milton Doyle now 1 of 8 from the field. On his second return. And this is the confidence of Magnay. He's decided to throw one up. And no foul on the play. Out of bounds, Bannon. Melbourne ball.
I can hear.
You definitely got hit.
Let's have a look at Chris Goulding. Goulding, he goes in here. Or a little tweak to the right ankle. Not a bad one.
Potentially even a slight hyperextension of the knee. Just watch that little buckle.
Yeah, a little.
Can't run, down.
Frustrating night continues. He takes a seat. 8 points to a 5 from deep. Second high scorer, and the Tyson Walker in double digits for Melbourne. He's going to have to provide the offense here. Wants to go at Marshall. And this time, Kruslovic, good effort on the offensive glass.
So 16 of 43, 37%, so they need those hustle plays where they're getting on the glass.
And you know what? The JackJumpers are doing well. They're controlling the tempo. They're not forcing anything. They're coming down, getting a good shot. They're making Melbourne United.
Well, that's their MO. That's what they do. And they've done it for so long. It's been one of the keys to their success.
333.
Bannon happy to commit the foul, just his second. He's got the 13 points, 5 rebounds, Josh Bannon. Already 9 double-doubles on the season. He's got 4 assists as well. An important steal. Been excellent, along with Will Magnay. Ben Air checks into the game. Krebs looking to get something going on offense. They might be able to do with that left hand. Now the Tassie bench will try and get some points. Deng, Ben Air, Johnson on the floor. Hamilton. Oh, watch out if he starts to get going.
Yeah, that's his first basket.
Just his first basket of the night.
Again, it's on-ball defense. It's not the urgency against at this level.
Walker.
We hit him earlier. Not on the block. Okay, we got 2 here.
Didn't like the call.
Well, he thought it was going to be a hands foul because he did get all ball. But right now, more confidence in anything that's going to be challenged is being shattered.
That's his 3rd personal. Tyson Walker to the free throw line, hasn't scored this quarter. Gets them both. Just 10 points though in this term for Melbourne United. So the lowest score of the season was 73 points when these teams met a couple of weeks ago.
It's in jeopardy.
Yeah. Tassie in control. Hamilton. He couldn't finish, but there is Will Magnay, who's now up to 20 points to go with the 9 rebounds.
He's having a great night tonight. And a lot of that is just hustle and garbage play. I mean, offensive rebounds, getting to the glass.
Finish for Milton Doyle, need more of that.
No, it's true, and I think it's tough for Kruslovic. being undersized forward. He does it really well, but they don't have a lot of other guys that can protect the rim when Edwards is not in the game.
Johnson almost lost the handle. Air, good find. Johnson in rhythm. It's now a game-high 16-point lead inside the final 30 seconds of this third quarter. Daniels left alone, has to take the shot, and that was a big make.
That's a massive shot by him.
It's actually very good three-point shot, 43% on the season. He doesn't take many unless he's wide open.
Hamilton turns it over.
Oh, it's
Bowen will take the last shot. He took 3 steps.
3.
That'll see us out at three-quarter time. Although there might be time, actually, because the travel may have been called before time expired.
Yeah.
So they're going to take a look at the clock, I believe.
It's when the travel... Well, it's not when the whistle blows. It's when the travel... Yeah.
So there will be some time put back on.
Won't be a lot. 0.6. Enough to catch and shoot.
0.6.
You can't throw it back, okay? Here we go. Here we go. Can't go back.
Who's going to get the shot? They're going to go to Will Magnay. And good effort by Krislovic. But that will see us out at three-quarter time. Tassie have basically led from start to finish. This was the Amy replay. David Johnson from a long way out to get them to a 16-point lead. Dash Daniels was able to match him at the other end. But Tassie looking to roll. Melbourne have all the work to do. It'll be some sort of finish if they can come back. Hungry Jacks NBL, Tasmania leading Melbourne by 13 points. Well, Melbourne United, they are in danger of losing their 6th game and their 6th out of their last 8 games if this continues. And Tasmania, well, they want to start to get rolling and see if they can work their way up the Hungry Jacks NBL ladder. And at the moment, they're doing it comfortably. They lead by 13 points. They've extended their lead at every change. And Leonard Copeland, can Melbourne United win it from here?
Now you want to put the pressure on me, huh? And look, they got to make some changes offensively and defensively if they expect to win from here. What's the most they've scored in a quarter?
Well, they've gone 16, 19 and 15 in their 3 quarters, Melbourne United.
they got to score heaps of points, and they got to shut the JackJumpers down. I just don't know if they got it going like that, George.
Well, they've had that struggle at both ends this game.
What are you seeing, Gazy? What are you seeing with this Melbourne United team that looked nothing like the team we saw in the first 10, 12 weeks?
Deer in the headlights is a comment that you hear a lot as an analogy, and there's got a bit of that about them. It's they're highly reactive on the defensive end. You don't see that ball pressure in the lanes, denying, and as such, they're not getting out and running. And then on the offensive end, when their first actions are taken away, so 1 or 2 actions, they're just then relying on the penetrate and dish or penetrate, put heat on the rim. And tonight, and what we've seen throughout this period, teams have been taking those initial actions away. And also, sometimes you just don't shoot well. They're going through a period where they're not shooting well.
You're going to have to find it from somewhere. Still Tyson Walker, Chris Golding there on the bench. Krebs will get an opportunity.
See, all the initial actions taken away. So now we're just down to individual one-on-one get to the rim. And that's great. That you need to do a lot of that. But the balance where they get something early from their structure is not the same as it was early on in the season.
And defensively, they used to be a team that people feared. When you walk in, when you're 9-0 and you walk into a stadium, generally people think, well, we ain't got a chance. Now, who thinks like that? Nobody.
Johnson tried his luck from way down.
And to their advantage in these low-scoring affairs, you're always in with a chance. You get hot, put some points on the board, and you give yourself a chance.
Levick tried to get some offense going. He was a bit strong on that. As we said, we expect this one to be decided by single digits. It's going to be relatively close. They generally always are. Magnay got 20, a season high. Goes and gets the offensive rebound, gives them another chance. That's a double-double for Magnay. Air, good find. Johnson.
And a couple of plays that really could have made the equation tough for Melbourne United. Some good looks.
Doyle. Oh, that's nice to see. And the Tassie fans just hold their collective breath because they have seen it before. Back within 8.
Yeah.
And Drew, you know what it's like when you're down, nothing to lose. You start just letting it fly. And all you need to see is 1 or 2 go in.
Already scored 7 quick points this quarter, Melbourne. Hamilton, he's got a good record at home.
A settler.
He's been shooting the 3-ball magnificently. His last 5 over 50%. Was a settler. Back to 11. Bowen thought about it. Krebs. And that's 9 points already in the quarter. Scoring coming a bit easier for Melbourne.
A lot easier.
And yeah, Roth would be happy with that. They've lost that defensive intensity.
Dang. Tried a little handoff for Magnay. Daniels. Been there with a professional foul.
He's in front. 10. Ring.
Something in the big ones, Ben N.
Didn't we say Drimmick was close?
Yeah, well, he was suiting up. They were saying that they said on their website that he was suiting up. But obviously, there he is there. So he's suited up and not getting any minutes. Big serious back injury. Last played October 15th, so maybe just needs a bit more conditioning. A bit more time. They'd love to get Jesse Edwards going. He's missed a bunny under the basket.
Over his arm. Bring 0. Hold over his shoulder.
Maybe Bryce Hamilton's
Here we go. In line.
third personal, second. Third, in fact, it is. Take a look at the replay.
Yeah, just came across the shoulder. They're the ones, Jesse Edwards. You've got to make that play. You've got to be able to finish.
Bowen. Couple of pump fakes to get Magnay in the air. Clever play. Chance to finish it off.
Just like that.
One only.
The game is flipped. And now a chance to bring it back to 6. He didn't do a whole lot wrong, Magnay.
Of course, we know the Hungry Jacks Ignite Cup presented by Disney Plus, Gold Coast, Feb 22. A handful of teams still a big chance to share in that $400,000 prize pool. Check out, buy the tickets, get there to be a special occasion. Historic occasion. NBL.com.au/Ignite Cup. And this is the closest it's been since the second quarter, 6 points. Bannon trying to back down on Bowen. Tough fadeaway.
Looked a little tentative. Marshall, Bannon gave up looks that they would normally let fly without thinking about it.
And this, Doyle again gave it up, Copes. Little look. Golding. A 12-5 run to start the fourth quarter. Tassie have played in 15 games decided by single digits, 12 of them by 6 points or less. They're used to playing in close ones. And Magnay having his best game of the season comfortably. His third double-double of the year.
Melbourne can afford to come down and use the ball for 20 seconds and not get something out of it.
Offensive foul. It's going to be on Edwards, I think. Just tried to create the driving lane and took Magnay out of the plate. See Doyle, there's the lane. Oh, not a huge shove, but
I think Magnay hurt himself with a collision with Hamilton.
Yeah.
So Edwards has to sit now with 4 fouls. He's done a mountain of work, Will Magnay. Played the 31 minutes, the most on the floor. Marshall, wide open. He's been knocking that down all season long.
They put him in that starting lineup, and he deserves that spot because what he does offensively and defensively good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Important basket. They get back out to 11 points. It's hovered around that. Tangerine timeout. Tassie still in control. Yeah, Nick Marshall, really good numbers at home this season. Shooting over 50% from the field. More than 10 points and 6 rebounds. Again, he's done it tonight when they've needed him, just stepped up in crucial moments.
How many minutes is he averaging, Joey? Because they trust him. That first quarter, he didn't take him out of the game. I think he played the whole first.
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Yeah, and that little run just gives a bit more breathing space, makes it a little easier on the JackJumpers on the offensive end. Not as much stress when you're shooting when you've got a double-digit lead. When that's at 6, it's a whole different set of circumstances going through your head.
Absolutely.
Well, Melbourne United, they got within 6 points, but Tasmania have been able to respond with back-to-back baskets. And on the Amy replay, here's Nick Marshall, who's been making big shots all season long for the Tassie JackJumpers. He's got 10 of his own, and they just give themselves a bit of breathing space inside the last 5 minutes.
A huge bucket, got it back to 6. Chris had a shot at a 3 to cut it to 3. Oh, good play coming out of the timeout.
Magnay! Came from nowhere.
Really good play coming out of the timeout.
He's looking as fresh as we've seen him, Will Magnay. He's played almost 32 minutes.
Hey, did you have his big? He's still spinning when it's on the 2-hand grab. Blue 2 hits and
Have a look at the Amy replay. As I said, great play, but that's just
give me that.
What an insurance policy you have when your defense breaks down. You got the big fella that can go up and just intimidate the shot or block it.
Reminds you a little bit of Simon Dwight, doesn't he?
Wow, the landlord. He was the master at that play.
Hamilton right over Milton Doyle, and Marshall hustle play gives them another chance. That's their 13th offensive rebound.
40 to 30 in that count, so Melbourne United have improved, but another offensive board.
He's got 6 of his own, Will Magnay. And then gets that one to go. 24 for Will Magnay. Doyle, crucial. That's his second of the quarter.
Needs to get hot, needs to get a little bit more of that.
You can ask yourself, he's got 14 points. 6 of them coming here as Tyler Campbell gets into the paint. But why? What does it take to crunch time for him to get in this frame of mind?
Bannon. They saw he had the mismatch on Walker. Good identification, but the points won't count. Foul. He's on the floor.
Hold. Side ball.
Bannon again. Magnay. Why not?
That's why.
Well, he's one away from a career high. Will Magnay's got 24 points. A career high 25.
See, on that one there, I know he's wide open, but he's wide open for a reason. He's got Krislovic with the 4 fouls. That's the one he's just got to put it to the deck and try and penetrate and get to the rim. Like that.
Krislovic had good patience. He knew Magnay was coming. He just waited for him to drift over the top. And now Scott Roth wants to call a Tangerine timeout as Melbourne get it back to within 8, and still plenty of time, Copes.
Yeah. Doesn't still enough time. That's why Roth called that timeout. He knows these next couple of plays are very important. Let's get a good shot every time, Drew.
Yeah, and who do you want to go to? What action do you want in that last 6 seconds? Because that's what they're going to do, because they're doing most of the game.
Pick and roll, Melbourne's been poor.
Yeah, but who do you want in that? Whatever they're going to do, they're going to try and get to that destination.
Let's go and find out. Let's go and listen to Dean Vickerman.
Hey, the next one, Fab, gonna put you in the corner. All right. Mill, you're coming off. Get a great screen and you're on the rim hard. All right. CG, you're flying underneath it right now. Yeah, you're underneath. You gotta sprint into this though, right now. You go down screen with CG and then he's flying over. So you're in this corner. Tice, you're in this corner. All right. Hard downhill. All right. Then lift on that one.
I'm setting the middle.
Yeah, set that, and you're in that corner. All right, Mill's coming towards you.
Well, great offensive play, but he's still got to worry about this other end down here.
No, well, there has been
a difference in the fourth quarter.
Marginal.
Yeah.
And a lot of that might just be.
That's because they're scoring.
Yeah.
Their defense hasn't changed. Offensively.
Yeah.
JackJumpers are going to the glass and getting multiple offensive rebounds.
Yeah. Getting the stop here. It's pretty cool.
Plus 11 on the rebound count, Tassie. Bannon. Good active hands. They forced the turnover. Now they'll work through the play that Dean Vickerman drew up for them. He doesn't attack the rim. Instead, he pulls up Milton Doyle. And then Magnay commits the foul on Edwards, who got the position.
That's a good foul.
Yeah.
Because they're not in the bonus, and Edwards catches it that close to the basket. It's usually going to result in a dunk.
Third personal for Will Magnay. No, JackJumper has 4. Jesse Edwards does for Melbourne. Golding might have to be the man. Not this time, as Magnay pulls down his 12th rebound.
Need to get this thing over the centre line. Gee, they only just got it over.
Here's Campbell. Krislovic did just enough twice.
Good
They've
hand.
been able to strip the ball away from Tassie.
See, now that's how you're supposed to execute. Now, I know it's up high, but on the hard show to come in and dig at the ball, we haven't seen that a lot on the on-ball screening.
The basket here will make it interesting. Walker, unattended. And they get it back to 6. It's as close as they've been.
They're limping to the line, the Jackies. They look nervous on the offensive end.
Yes, they do.
You just give it to Hamilton.
I'm going with a high pick and roll, and I'm having Magne dive to the basket.
Hamilton, he's cool as a cucumber.
Cool as the other side of the pillar.
Everyone else tightening up. Just give it to their main man. 8 points. Melbourne almost have to be perfect. Walker, oh, that helps. It's now 5. And he's got a limp. It might just be calf cramp. He's got 20. And he's going to have to guard Tiger Campbell with cramp.
Tiger got to go. What are you doing, Tiger? He's limping and you passing the ball.
Well, this is unusual because they've
Two guys are limping.
They've stopped the play.
He does now. Sub.
He's got to go out if they've stopped the play for him.
He's clearly
Tasmania had a good...
He's holding his calf the whole way down. Nothing's happening down there.
What? Are the referees allowed to stop the play because somebody looks hurt on the other side?
Well,
That could be a ploy.
And they've just gained an extra 3 seconds because the shot clock was down to 11 and they reset the
Wait. Hold on, I haven't been retired that long. Somebody looks like they're hurt, you're going to call to stop the play. Nah, bro.
Defense, that's for sure.
Big offensive stand. Just go to Bryce! Oh, Bryce Hamilton has stepped up when they've needed him in the 4th quarter. Barely sighted, but he's iced the game for them, you feel, or maybe not. Milton Doyle. He's also as cool as the other side of the pillow, coach, and it's still 5 points.
Drew said it, though. He waits till the end of the game to come to work. You got to go to work early, bro. You can't come in late.
Hamilton wants it again. He gets it back. It can't be. It's not going to be! Will Magnay with a career night seals it with a triple.
Oh, don't go too early. There you go.
Yes, that was the night. The night of Will Magnay's life.
Wow. What a shot. And he was forced into that shot, which makes it easier on him because of the shot clock running down. Had to shoot it. There's a 3-point barrage in his last minute and a half. Milton Doyle's come to life. And there you see the shot clock. He had no other choice. So that takes all the pressure, all the thinking out of the situation when you're in that circumstance.
But he just shot an air ball the shot before.
But that's what he said, coach. It takes all that pressure out of your head. And this free throw from Bannon, and it's not unlikely to matter with that make by Will Magnay.
Made 2 3-pointers for the season. He's 3rd of the year, gave him a career high. Mind you, the 12 rebounds not far off a career high as well. 2 off his record of 14. They have a tangerine timeout, and the crowd stand to applaud their big man who has delivered in a huge way tonight.
Oh, my word. And also Bryce Hamilton, to have a game when things aren't happening for you, similar to Milton Doyle, but in the last quarter to have that courage, self-confidence, and the support of your teammates to take and make some of the shots that he has made has been a credit to Bryce Hamilton. But it's this fella here, Will Magnay. Well, you called it a career night. Statistically, it is, for sure. And against a very intimidating defender as well in Edwards, but he has just been on a mission at both ends of the floor. The shot blocking, the rebounding, the follow-ups, He's ticked every single box for the JackJumpers this evening.
And the other thing too is our man Statty at NBL Facts just sent me and said it's the first time in his career Will Magnay's played more than 36 minutes.
Wow.
So that one's for Damon Lowry. But they've kept him out there. He's played over 36 minutes. And usually they've managed his minutes and time restrictions, but tonight they've just let him go. And boy, has he delivered.
He's delivered because he stayed healthy too. A lot of the times when we watch him play, he's so dynamic and he's on the floor and he's diving up the balls. He gets injured. The fact that he's healthy and on the floor, nothing but good things.
Golding throws up the air ball. Another tough shooting night for him. But it's going to be all about the Tassie JackJumpers. They're going to record their 11th win of the season. They cement themselves in the top 6. But maybe they have just shown their best basketball is still to come in 2026.
Well, not only that, it continues to raise question marks about Melbourne United after their spectacular 9-0 start. Their slump has extended beyond what most people thought and continues here in this one. Dean Bickerman, you say, well done, Will Magnay, with what he's been able to do. Great respect by Dean for the outstanding performance by Will Magnay.
They led from start to finish, Tasmania. They jumped out of the blocks. They led by 3/4 time. Got it out to 9. They had a dominant third quarter, led by 13. Melbourne made some runs. Milton Doyle tried in the last quarter. They got within 5. But Tasmania just had all the answers. And in the end, they get the win. Their 4th win at home from their 10 games. And there is a look at the Mitsubishi Motors live ladder.
Wow. It is, and like we said, Coach, Melbourne United, they have got people out, but most teams have had to deal with some absentees throughout the course of the season. But I think it's beyond just the fact that they've got some missing personnel. There are some issues that they have yet to resolve.
Yeah, they got to fix some things. I mean, this is the Melbourne United that started the season. Yeah, you're right. They do have players out, but every team has players out. Dean's got to find a way to get the best out of these guys, and I'm sure he's able to do it, but it's going to take a little time.
So you can see there, Tasmania give themselves a bit of breathing space. Illawarra had a win earlier tonight. New Zealand still hanging around. Don't go anywhere. We will get Will Magnay and have a chat to him.
And he's got the word. The boys in the studio want to have a chit-chat.
Well, he's our footlocker player of the game. If he wants his prize, he needs to jump on and join us. That's what we're saying.
Nice. No, it was, but he had some running mates along the way. Josh Bannon with the 14 points, and he was very important. David Johnson hit a couple of big shots. He was only 2 of 7, but a couple of timely shots made. And Bryce Hamilton, after being virtually unsighted, as you called, was important in the 4th.
Well, we have got our man, the footlocker player of the game, Will Magnay, joins us. Thank you for your time, Will. Congratulations, mate. Career high, 27 points. Just talk us through your feelings right now, how that felt tonight.
Yeah, it was good. I thought we just did a good job attacking the paint, and I feel like we had a pretty good December and we're growing in the right areas. And yeah, it was just a good win at home. You know, we haven't been great at home this year, so it's good to start the new year with a win at home. And I'm getting swarmed right now, but yeah,
nice.
It was
nice shades.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a good win.
Hey, Will, 36 minutes. This is probably the first time you played that long. What are you doing, drinking pickle juice? What's going on with that?
No, man, I've been just working on my body for years now, and they're just trusting me to play more and more. And, you know, they had some timely timeouts there. I was gassed for a bit, but yeah, definitely good to come out with a win.
12 from 18, outstanding percentages. Was it a pre-game plan for you to get this volume of shots up?
Not really. They just wanted me to be aggressive in the paint, and I think we did a good job in Melbourne just attacking the paint. So they just told me to be aggressive, and you know, they've just told me to let some 3 balls fly as well. So it's good to see one of those going.
Hey, Will, now in our pregame, we spoke about you getting going and having a couple of dunks and getting the crowd involved. That crowd down there is amazing when you guys are rolling like this.
It's incredible, man, and we've come up short a few times this year, and we felt pretty bad for them. But you know, we've got a bit of a rhythm at home now, and you know, hopefully we can keep building in this new year.
And the grind, the defence. When you just look at the raw numbers, the 75 points, you hold a high-quality team too. But this is what you've been doing now. A lot of it's predicated, I say, on your tempo of your offense, but defensively, you read it so well with that Simon Dwight type.
He doesn't know Simon Dwight.
I've been compared to him for years now. I've heard the name.
Coach sort of saying, but defensively, just outstanding performance.
Yeah, we were just solid around the board. I don't know what the offensive rebounding count was, but that was a big focus for us, and we controlled the glass, I think, pretty well. Big Juki was big for us as well, but there's just a good energy around the group right now.
You're allowed to take the towels off your head.
I don't know. We'll let you go, Will. Thank you for your time, mate.
Oh, yeah, see, so I didn't do it.
Congratulations, mate, on your performance
well
and also the team's performance. One of the best games of Will Magnay's career. 27 points, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots.
Fellas.
Well done, mate, Will.
And great shades.
Yes, looks good in them too.
Yeah.
And they should enjoy their night tonight, Tassie, because they had a big win over Melbourne United. 9 points. They get their 11th win on the season. We'll come back right after this. Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland will wrap it all up on Hungry Jack's NBL. Well, Tasmania JackJumpers get it done at home in front of the faithful, and they move to 11-13 on the season off the back of that man, Will Magnay, with the best performance of his career. But the good thing was he had plenty of mates who stepped up when they needed, and they can continue to roll into the 2026 season, while Melbourne have now lost 6 of their last 8 games. And I'd love to ask Leonard Copeland and Andrew Gaze whether it's more than just a slump and whether there's cause for concern if you coach Dean Vickerman.
They got problems. There is no joke. I mean, look, if they could win, they would. They have problems. They got to fix it internally, whatever it is, whatever's going on. Because when you don't go 9-0 in the beginning of the season and beat every team, and now you're struggling to get a win.
And that's something that they'll be leaning on, that they can look back at stages of the seasons where they've been one of the, at the time, the most dominant team in the competition. So they don't have to look too far back amongst the group to get some positive reinforcement. But it is more than a funk right now. You go 2-6. in this period. Now, last year they did it as well, but they were able to recover. It's hard to see right now that there's been much change in the last couple of weeks, and they just fell over the line against Brisbane, who everyone's been beaten up on them. So it's a concerning time for them, but they do have the talent to get through this.
And there's their next 5, of course, those home games. None of them are at John Cain Arena, of course, with the Australian Open. So a couple in Bendigo, one of them is in Perth for Hoops Fest. So are they going to be travelling on the road until February 7th when they return to John Cain Arena? So they're going to have to continue to find their best form. But for Tassie, we've spoken a lot about Will Magnay, but he had a lot of mates that stepped up. None of them really having big nights, but stepping up when they needed them. And one of those guys that's done it all season long was young Nick Marshall, who at times in this game, right when they need him, was able to knock down a couple of big threes.
He's certainly taking advantage of his opportunity, Joey. You put him in the starting lineup now. He plays great defense. He's not afraid to take that big shot. Did a great job on Chris Golding as well. But I love the way he gets up and down the floor. Reminds me of a Scotty Ninnis type player who can do it all. And look, we're talking about putting Johnson in the starting lineup. I'd leave it just like it is because Nick Marshall's doing a fantastic job.
No, for sure. And he takes what he's given from the perimeter. He doesn't force anything from the perimeter, but he's athletic enough to get to the rim, to create things off the bounce. But what he is also becoming one of the elite defenders in the competition. Great athlete, good size, and he made life really tough for a couple out there, in particular Chris Golding, who after a pretty, he had the first 5 points for Melbourne United, but after that, he was in lockdown.
Well, and what's been a pretty inconsistent season for Tassie, they've now beaten South East Melbourne and Melbourne United 2 of their last 3 games. And if it wasn't for half a second, Bryce Hamilton could have taken the Illawarra game to overtime. So when we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder, the Jackies now give themselves a little bit of breathing space. Do you think they're a team, Copes, that can get on a bit of a roll? We've seen Scott Roth be able to do it year after year and maybe just work their way up the ladder.
Well, they're going to have to, but the schedule that you showed earlier, it's going to be hard, man. You play Sydney and you got to play Melbourne again, and then you play in Adelaide. Those are 3 very tough teams, and they're on the road. It's going to be hard to beat them.
I don't think they can make the top 4, but what they are is a team that you do not want to see in the playoffs because they play differently.
Yeah.
They're not like every other team.
Their pace.
They play at their pace. They keep you in the half court. They don't give you a lot of opportunities on the offensive end, and their next 5 games is going to be a genuine test. But you know what? You could put every team's next 5 games up on the board and we're going to say, oh, geez, isn't that tough? Such as the competition that we're now facing.
Yep, so that was what it looks like. They get a little bit of a rest and then they have to go and play the Adelaide 36ers. But they do get the all-important win. And, of course, it continues tomorrow, round 15 of the Hungry Jacks NBL. We have a doubleheader, New Zealand hosting the Perth Wildcats. And undermanned Brisbane are going to have to host the Adelaide 36ers. That is going to be a tough ask. But Monday night's the one that's penciled in. Sydney Kings, South East Melbourne Phoenix, with second spot up for grabs potentially. Ooh, nice. Those 2 teams will be desperate to win. So plenty more action. But that'll wrap us up tonight from My State Bank Arena. It was a big win for Tassie, as we've said. Thank you to Andrew Gaze. Good to see you. Leonard Copeland, always. And I hope you enjoyed the telecast tonight. It was good fun calling this one. Melbourne United continue to struggle. Tassie back on the winners list.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.
How many journos here over the